Down.
I can make myself a nice seat.
Ben, sit down. Slow. Love it.
Oh.
See the problem.
Nice.
Right.
Does anybody know anything about this? Tap, 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 tap. Do you know what kind of tap, tap, taps?
Right.
Tap, tap. What variations? There's 3 levels.
Medium,
We start with,
soft, medium, hard.
yeah, and we're defined by wrist taps, elbow taps, and shoulder taps. So we do our first ones with our arm will be on the blade, on the handle, and we're all the movement that we're able to get just from our wrist swinging. And those are our first 10 taps. And if we have a big break that happens this far down in the snow and a whole column falls in your lap and you're giving it a couple of these, get the fuck off the slope. That's like, that would be the biggest red flag ever. Just a couple of light little dinky guys sets off a big chunk that falls into the pit. Get the hell out of there. That's like the biggest thing you're kind of worried about. So it's giving you a big slab
Grab my phone back up.
attribute.
Sorry,
Very
okay.
easily triggered. So that would be, you'd be getting red flags big time. So when we first get into a pit, for what you guys are going to do, I'm going to try to avoid saying all the nerdy shit, because it's just more important that you guys get the gist of this. We have done our homework this morning. We've identified all the layers that we're kind of after. Right now, we're really only worried about the new storm snow that's sitting on top, which doesn't actually give us very cool test results. Sort of similar to what I just saw. We will see something, but we won't see that, what I was just describing, where everything kind of slides off on a nice defined layer. And you can just look at the snow crystals on that layer to kind of really see what's going on. That won't happen today. Because we don't have any significant layers down low anywhere in the snowpack here. Up in my region, there's a couple of little things, but even it would be hard to see. Those layers, though, when and they do exist, like right now, if I was going skiing, I probably wouldn't even dig a pit. If conditions are good, choose smart travel habits, and I'd go for it. Make sure I got eyes on people and stuff. Like, you don't necessarily need to do this all the time. If I had a bunch of layers that I was really concerned about, I want to identify them, I want to know where they are, I want to look at them and just sort of see how they react. So the first place that we go to find them is on our observation wall. And we use different tools. You can use kind of whatever. Lots of guys will have like a specific thing they use. Lots of guys will use a pencil. I just used to like to use my ruler because I've always got it with me. Some guys will have a specific card they use. What you want to do is you've got this much room to work with, and you can kind of clean it out a little bit more back here, sort of thing. I'm not worried about it right now. We want to start at the top and sort of cut down. So I want to cut into the snowpack and see where there's differences in densities. So where does my tool get hung up? And a lot of times it'll go down, 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 and it'll get stiff. And that gets stuck there. And you can go over here, go down, 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 down. It gets stuck, exact same spot. And you push through it, and it feels the same again. It feels the same again. And then it hits another spot. And you'd want to be saying, as soon as it hits something, you make a mark. That feels like a layer. And you do it again over here. Shit, I'm getting my tool's getting hung up, same spot. Tool's getting hung up, same spot. Eventually you connect 4 or 5 of these things, you can sit back and maybe you can see something in the snow. Right now, for sure, we can see our storm snow. I hope everyone can see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Clear as day. At least we have something to look at today. So when I put my tool in, fluffy, 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 crusty. Changes. The sound changes. Listen. That snow has gone through metamorphosis. That thing it's started to bond. It's starting to heal. And it creates this thing. Moisture is moving out through it in a uniform fashion. The snowpack is awesome. This is what we would love to see all the time. This new storm snow, hopefully it will just become more of the same. This was probably a layer of 20 centimeters and a layer of 7 centimeters. But as it sits and as it consolidates, it all becomes one layer. This is awesome. This is really, really safe skiing to have. So the only reason we're even getting anything above a low in our bulletins is because of this new snow. Which is like, this is pristine. This is like good, safe stuff with blower on top. It's great skiing. And conditions are great right now. Like, the ski hill is awesome. So yeah, you'll feel that line, feel where it changes. In a good snowpack that's more interesting, you'll feel it get a little bit stiffer. Maybe there, feel a little bit stiffer. Maybe. So as soon as you start to see something like that, you follow it up here. And we may want to make a mark. This is our critical corner. Me as a professional, I'm going to have a bunch of tools set up here. And I want to know where my mark is. And I want to see where that is so that when I do my test, I can coincide with if the failure happens where I've discovered my layer. So all this is doing is finding, okay, the snowpack, the forecasters are telling me there's a layer. Here it is. Here it is on my corner. How does it respond to me hitting? Does that make sense? Again, we've got soft snow on top of more hard snow, so another really good sign. Yeah, see, we do get kind of hung up in a little bit of a layer there. But I think it's just compacting. And you can feel it. It stiffens here again too. So these are probably layers coinciding with storm snow, like storms. There it is again. See? A little bit there too. We started seeing some of this down there, didn't we? A couple of little layers that were sort of popping up. So this might be just as the snow is evolving, we're starting to see a little bit of changes in the snowpack. So this is stuff that's interesting to me. So we definitely got storm snow up here, so we do have some layers. I got 3 that I'm kind of looking at a little bit here. So we might have, like, for all intents and purposes, we have November and December, early season, went through a few hot cold cycles, then got established, then a little period of no snow. We got lots of snow through early December, and then maybe nothing for January, a little bit skinny, sort of steady through January, and then new snow on top. So this is the history of the season so far, and it's kind of all there. So we're seeing a lot more than we were yesterday.
It's like tree lines. You know,
exactly
when you
like a tree lines, yeah. It's just giving you the history of what was going on back then.
Yeah.
And it's literally a history. Now it does change. The layers will exist, but the characteristics will change as they live under the snow. So they'll bond, or they won't, or the snowpack will heal, or it won't. So they do change once they're in there, but they'll still be a layer. The characteristics of that snow will start to stand out as different. So now for you guys, this is what I want to see. I've got 3 lines there. So I'm curious to see if anything that happens when I do this test, if it coincides through those layers. And I've got some information. Probably not going to get any result that's going to keep me off a slope today, but I might if the conditions are a little bit different. So to dig our pit.
I was going to say, can I take a picture of you so that you've done already?
Sure.
Cool. Don't use your phone.
Can we sit here?
Yeah.
I'll sit.
Would you do a whim of this?
Sorry?
Would you post that on, is it whim?
Would I post what?
Is it whim that you posted on?
Min, the Min report.
Min.
Yeah, I can. I'm shy on there for some reason, which is dumb.
Wait, can you check my jacket, please? It's the orange one. That's
You need something?
my
Yeah.
jacket.
The whole jacket.
It's the one that looks like cotton.
He's cold.
It's a little bit chilly now.
Ah, get digging again.
What's that?
Yep, skull start.
Thanks, man.
So we'll need a saw to do the next bit, and it would be a sort of a. You can use any saw that you have. A lot of times the standard saws that people are putting in their emergency pack, which is a very good emergency tool, aren't long enough. You want them to be 30 centimeters. So if you guys were doing this kind of stuff and you wanted to pursue this and you do buy a saw, this is a good one to buy. You can process wood with it. It will cut trees quite well. And it does give you a little screen, so you could avoid purchasing an extra little bit for a little while until you discovered that, shit, I like the blue one better. They're not too expensive. So. But most importantly, it's that 30 centimeters. So as long as you got any kind of saw that's 30 centimeters, it could be a pull-out one or a fold-out one. You want a saw so you can make fire. We're going to use measurements on this guy to get our test going. I am going to do a couple in here. I think we'll do 1 column, and then we'll do an extended column, and we should have room for 1 more column. So a couple of you might not get to hit the snow, but we will see. Maybe that'll be our extended column color. You guys can just be 4 down there, single. So we'll cut them. We measure them out on the snow first. So up on the wall, I will want a little bit of width over here to put in the shovel. So on one side, we can dig out and excavate a ton over here, get a shovel in. I will need to cut the back of my column, and I'll use the left-hand side to get back in there. On the right-hand side, though, we want to cut as little as possible so we have opportunity to do more tests. So we don't rip apart the wall over there. We just cut a tiny little cheese wedge. I'll show you what that looks like. So to begin with, measure 30 across. Take a little pick. Measure 30 in and just cut straight down. Measure 30 again, mark. Try to keep it nice and parallel. And then here I can dig out all of this. I should have moved it in a little bit more. I kind of fucked up my critical corner. But I want to make sure I've got enough for it so you all get a chance here. So I would have normally left maybe I would have done it here. So you can dig this out. Your saw mark makes it nice and easy. Usually I'd use my shovel. Get the snow so easy right now. And then on the front, we can go in and maybe about this wide. You want to come in on an angle and just cut a little cheese wedge back to your whole back corner.
Oh.
Whoa, that's a slack take.
This is sort of our snow profile. And when you do this, you can, a lot of times if there's cool layers, you can hold them up to the sun and see right through. Yeah, maybe a little bit in here. Not much to see. So you'll clean this out. Easy with the saw. We got two nice sides showing, and all the to-do left is cut the back. A finer point, for whatever reason, you can watch your blade coming through on this side. Make sure you're kind of cutting it straight. A lot of guys will tell you, I just won't do this. If you are doing your own pit and there's not a lot of people around and I need this tool a lot. For some reason, you're asked to leave the saw in the back. You can kind of mess up the column just pulling it out. I'm going to pull it out right now because I need to cut another column in a second. But I would just leave the saw there to do my test. If this was just me actually getting some information. Just a little finer point. I got it up there. So now, we're ready for our double test. And maybe we'll just demonstrate the first one. Move this guy here. When we do them, we'll shave off just the tiniest little pinch off the top to kind of make it level. So you shave off just the back, really. So it's a flat surface. And then our first, breaking a lot of my own rules here just so you guys get the experience. Like this, our whole arm stays on the shovel, and that's all we want is these counts. And we're counting for 10 on that, and then 10 we swing from the elbow, and then 10 we whack the hell out of the thing from the shoulder as hard as we can. Your hand will hurt when you're done with it, like you'll not want to hit it the last few times. It's just, you should be swinging hard at it, because that's what we want to sort of make stuff happen at that point if it hasn't already. You do want to have eyes on the column each hit, be paying attention to see if stuff moves. Right now, I'm going to be looking at storm snow. This test is actually going to probably tell me nothing, because I can guarantee this little bit is going to react differently than this little bit. So this test I wouldn't do today because it's not going to give me pertinent information. The information I might be curious to know is propagation. So we'll do that other test, which I didn't even show the other class because it's not that. It's a very specific reason I want to know something about the snow today. It's propagation. So for you guys, we got this queued up. 10 taps. Let's see if anything happens. If a big crack happens here, yell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A little bit of a move there. 6, 7, 8.
Yes,
so at 8, we're starting to see a progressive collapse. Yeah. Or almost like a bit of a resistant planar. So we are seeing some slab characteristics there. It did move as like a complete uniform thing, not What would be really good is if it just slowly compresses and kind of crumbles, but it's moving on a defined layer here. So where were we at? Is that 8? 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So those are our mediums. And hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So at 9, see what we're seeing?
Yep.
It did break, and where did it break?
Yeah.
On one of our layers. So see how it all works together? It's all like, it's not just bullshit. It's, we want to identify here because I bet you that's where stuff's going to crack. And as we whack it, stuff starts to crack. Bit obscure. We did see a nice compression, which is what I would really expect from a lovely snowpack. As I hit it, it just kind of squishes as I kind of go. That's progressive kind of collapse, which can be a good sign for stability. This did have a couple of fracture characteristics. I'm not seeing, there's different versions of reactions that can happen to these, compressions and planars. Planars are the ones that are more concerned. That's when something, a whole shelf will come off. So what that might look like is, if I hit this and all of a sudden, and this comes down and falls off, this will be at a defined layer, and it will be a perfectly flat surface. It'll be the old bed layer. That thing will have fallen off. And that's what that is, if that comes at a hit, is what's going to be called a sudden planar. So suddenly, the whole thing just went. And that's scary avalanche results, because that means we skied 10 guys down and it was fine. The 11th guy put in the right thing, sudden collapse. Suddenly it went, and it all went together. So progressive collapse, things kind of go a little bit squish, they kind of fall apart. That sort of shows that it's a little bit more, not all the time, but on today's snowpack, that would be appropriate. It's stable, it's showing it's stable. When I do start to see some of these things reacting, 2 weeks ago I had no interest in the snowpack whatsoever. It was kind of comedic. Now things are changing. Layers are starting to define. Maybe moisture's not moving through the snowpack so well at the moment. Something's happened down low, and we might start to see this layer maybe develop into a bit of a problem. So we'll want to kind of keep testing it as we kind of go on. You guys here at a ski hill, you got ski patrols doing this every day kind of thing. So, but interesting stuff down there. And the storm snow, we did see slab characteristics. So I'm going to want to do my second test now, which is the extended column, to see when I hit this and it cracks. We did see it crack at one point. I'm only going to hit it on one side, but our column's going to be twice as wide. So I'm curious to see if when it cracks, it comes all the way over and is affected over here. So to do the extended column test, teach you guys will kind of do one of these. For the extended column test, I'm going to cut my 30.
Wayne, could you possibly pass my hat and my
right?
hoodie? My hat and my hoodie? Becca, do you want your coat as well?
Please, I was just about to ask. Can I have
So
a coat?
Becca's
as well?
coat and my hoodie, yeah, that's perfect.
Then I'm going to measure over 60. So I'm going to do 2 of these. Now, a saw will not cut the back of this, so we need a probe. I'm just behind you there.
Easier said than done. Now you cast.
Yeah. Probe in this corner here.
So why do we need the probe? Sorry, I missed that.
Because you can't, your saw's not long enough to be able to cut the back of it.
Cut the back. So we use our rope. And we pivot around this side.
Just strapping off it.
I know.
So,
It's so hard.
this is pretty Neanderthal. You can just go get a tiny piece of rope and tie a bunch of knots in it, and you got this tool. used for cutting off cornices and doing the whoosh block test, which is a massive test that a skier jumps on. Lots of times I'll dig 2 pits beside each other, and then you can dig out a little column, a huge column, like almost the size of a pit in the middle of them, and then get a skier to stand on the big column and jump on it and see what happens.
Wait, can you check my hat as well?
Takes forever to do. You want to jump up for me? I'll use you. So in the corner, right here, we're just going to saw, and I kind of want you just to saw down. All right. Hook is wrapped around the saw, and the 2 of us just saw back and forth.
Oh. Oh.
A little bit of downward pressure. The knots cut the snow. Look at there. Gets on my perfect. Pretty good. That's a good shot. There we go. Throw it out there. Probe. And since you helped me, let's give her some wax.
Right.
You can just cut off the tiniest of the top there. So this one is called an extended column test, and again, just I've said it a bunch of times, but we're looking for propagation. Are remote triggers going to happen? Do we need to